What's up, Indianapolis?
Hey, this is Catina and Edgar. Look, joining you all the way from Kansas City, Missouri. Yes, so excited for those of you all that are joining us today, this evening. We are excited to be here and talk about our Surge experience, give you the alumni perspective. This is no holds bar, real talk about our Surge experience. So join us, tell other people to join us, share it out, invite them in. If you are in the educational space in Indianapolis, Indiana, and you are interested in Surge, you are in the right place this evening. So if you know others that should be joining us this evening, invite them in. It is not too late. Again, I'm Catina. This is my co-host, Edgar. And we're going to start it off, I think, with a short video so you guys can learn more about Surge.
Here we go.
I love it. That is so powerful. So again, welcome. Good evening. Chris, you're already saying hi to us. Thank you for being here. Hello. We see our other fearless leader. Hey, she said, I made it. Yay. We are so glad that you are joining us this evening. Again, my name is Catina Taylor. I am a native of Kansas City, Missouri, not Kansas. Don't get it twisted. The show me state. Yes. I am a Surge 2020, Surge Academy 2020 fellow, and we are just wrapping up. So I guess I'm officially kind of an alum now. So excited. I am the co-founder of an organization that specifically addresses, supports, encourages, and honors Black females in the education space, education professionals. But I also have, that's a co-founded organization, nonprofit. I also have my own business, Dreams Consulting, where I provide consulting services to businesses in the educational sector as well. So Edgar, go ahead and introduce yourself and tell the people who you are and what you do.
Awesome, Catina. It's always hard to follow you in these conversations, I got to add. So buenas tardes, buenas noches, Surge Indianapolis, Surge Indy. My name is Edgar Palacios. I am the founder of an organization here in Kansas City called the Latinx Education Collaborative. We work on increasing the representation of Latinx education professionals in K-12. I am proud to say that I'm original Surge in Kansas City. We were the original cohort. No, Catina, I mean, you guys have one-upped us, and that's fine. But I just really want to be, and also to all my Surge fam out there, just know what this means. You see it right here.
We don't know what that means. No,
it means unity, but it's also our symbol and our Surge cohort name. So anyways, Catina, I'm gonna just take a little bit to kind of interview you as, I guess, a recent alum.
But wait. You cannot do that yet because you did not. Did you tell the people what you do? I don't think you told them what you do. Did you?
I run an organization here in Kansas City. I think I did the Latinx Education Collaborative.
Tell us more about that. Come on now.
Oh, I mean, we work hard on a couple of things. Three things I would say. One is the retention of effective Latinx education professionals. Two, pathway exposure. We want to make sure to tap on students, let them know that they too can be teachers. And three, we also want to talk about the recruitment of new folks into the space, new Latinx folks into the education space. We absolutely believe that representation matters. And we really work hard at trying to elevate the voices of Latinx educators in these conversations and really get out the way, because we believe that, you know, the genius is there, and we just try to create the space to amplify those voices. So, I mean, and, you know, every Monday night we co-host a show called The Coalition. We believe in solidarity as well. And we talk about issues that are pertinent in Black and Brown communities in the education space, particularly in Kansas City, but we also get some guests nationally as well, I would say. You've done a phenomenal job of building the brand in a national level. So, you know, shout out to you.
So you are going to interview me tonight so that people can learn about Surge. I love it. I love it. I mean, put me in the interviewee seat tonight.
You know, we all want to hear what you got to say. So let's take it back. Let's take it back to the beginning of the year, I think, right? It was the beginning of the year. You found out about Surge.
I did, very randomly.
Randomly. What was your first thought?
I went to an informational, and my first thought was I was too old. I am not too old. And I want to put that out there because I am a veteran educator, a veteran, a seasoned education professional. I'll say that. And I know, yes, that I look much younger than I actually am, but I am a grandmother. So my first question was really and truly, was this a program for millennials or younger people just coming into the profession? Or was it a program that would be feasible for mid-year or more seasoned education professionals? And that question was quickly answered. It was a resounding yes. This is for anyone who is seeking to develop their individual selves and grow in the space where they are. And not only that, have a really amazing impact, a qualitative and quantitative impact in the education space. And so if you were a Black or a brown person with that desire, then I knew in that moment that I was in the right space. And in addition to that, at the informational, one of the things that I heard were real personal stories from people that I respected here in Kansas City that had gone through that first cohort. And to hear those leaders who I thought had it all together to speak about how phenomenal their experience had been in Surge and assisting them in kind of getting out of our own way, because all of us are leaders in some capacity. But oftentimes when we have our private time, we have self-talk that is not always so positive. But Surge, the way it was explained in that moment, was a vehicle to allow us to begin to strip away the onion, so to speak, or the layers that put us in a position to have that negative self-talk. And so we could really wipe that slate clean and move forward as education professionals, knowing that we were truly in the right place, doing the right work, and with the potential to do even greater work. And that night it sold me. I was like, I'm applying.
So you go through I would say a rigorous application process, right? You know, it's intensive.
Yes, it was. I was insulted.
Insulted? Tell me more about that, Catina.
Like anybody that knows me knows that I'm seasoned, right? So it's like when I'm applying for anything and I have to go through something rigorous, I'm like, why I got to do that? Like, why do I have to do that? But I will say that this process really, the team, the Surge team, from the founder, Carmita, to everyone that participated in the process, the application process, answering questions prior to, they are intentional about interviewing you while you also interview them. And that's the thing. We are all professionals here. We are not, young kids just starting on our way, although it's open to those folks as well. But they really know if they had to sit in a chair, the person that they were trying to attract to Surge, they could do that. And they're very strategic and intentional. So I understand why it was a rigorous process. And I appreciate that it was a rigorous process, because it also allowed me, again, to see that it was a good fit for me and for them to see that I was a good fit for the program. So I appreciated that. The process also was different than any other process that I had. So those selection days and things like that, amazing. And it was an opportunity to have real talk and real conversation with the people that we were going to be spending the next 6, 7, 8 months with, learning from and developing relationship with. So it was a needed and necessary. So when I finished it, I wasn't as insulted.
You know, I got to say that the application process also mirrors the experience, right? We are here to do real work, and we are here to fully show up as who we are as individuals, work through our own issues, talk, build community. And so I think that that it was a really good indicator for that experience and for the work to come after the fact. So I you know, it felt a little much, but I also valued it, and I appreciated the work that goes into it, because honestly, like, this is a program, a fellowship for folks who are ready to do real work, I would say, and they're ready to put it all out there, and see what beauty comes from it. Before I ask you my follow-up question to that, I'm gonna just welcome Jana into the space. Thank you so much, Jana.
Surge 2020 visionary in the house. Yes.
I gotta say, I'm a little mad about the name Visionary. That's such a good name, so I celebrate it. But also, like, you know, just gonna throw that out there. And then Carmita, what's up?
Oh, our founder is here with us. We love you back. We love you back. She said she broke her social media fast for this. So you know how important you all in Indianapolis, in Kansas City, in Oakland, how important you are to Carmita for her to break her fast and come and share with us this evening. So we appreciate you being here. We appreciate you actually entrusting the recruitment process to alum, so that people really have real insight about what the Surge experience is. And we thank you, I do specifically, for the investment. And I know you were going to ask a follow-up question, but let me say this. The application process, as we were talking about, it is rigorous, but understand that this is an amazing, a huge investment in you as an individual. And so anytime someone is investing in you as an individual, there is going to be, you have to, kind of put some skin in the game. And so part of putting the skin in the game is that interview process. It is the actual work output. It is coming prepared. All of those things that are required of you to dig deep, to peel those layers back, to see how you contribute to your own stalemate, so to speak, in your professional development, and ask the tough question, all of that. So it's a huge investment. So I am grateful, I am thankful, I am humbled that I was chosen to receive such an investment.
So Catina, you go through the process, you find out that you got in, and now the magic really starts. Talk to me about that first session. What was that opportunity like? What was that moment like for you?
Now, I will say this. So I was sold, I applied, I got accepted. I cried during the interview process. What? And then, but I still had no expectation. I didn't know really, I don't think, what I was getting myself into or what to expect, but I was open. And I think that's what matters. So when I walked in that first weekend that we spent together, and we kind of was just getting the introduction, it was mind-blowing. It taught me some things that, now, mind you, I have my undergrad degrees. I went to law school. I worked in government sector, nonprofit sector, corporate sector. And in that moment, I had actually learned something in regards to analyzing, synthesizing information, digging deeper, asking deeper questions to understand the context in where we find ourselves just in that first weekend. And so they were good tears. Yes, they were good tears. But that, and then I am a personality type that it takes a lot for me to build relationships. But from that first weekend, I walked away and I was like, yeah, these are going to be people that I will bond with, that I will trust, and that I will develop a real relationship with, and they will extend beyond this fellowship. So it was a new family that I was being introduced to and brought into and being made a part of. So from that moment on, it was like, okay, we got this, it's rolling. So I was excited. It was a lot though. It was draining. It was emotionally draining. that intellectual energy that you expend, it is no joke. So this is not for the faint at heart. It is really if you are ready to do real work. And again, you're investing in you and you're investing in your why. Whatever gets you up each and every day, this is an additional investment in that. Are you ready to make the investment? Or are you not?
I think about my own experience and the hard work, and part of that hard work was acknowledging for me my own complicity in advancing and perpetuating systemic racism in the work that I was doing and my own thoughts, coming to terms with my own bias, and understanding, doing that kind of work and understanding like how I could be in solidarity and also carry a lot of that pain and frustration and whatnot. So acknowledging a lot of hard feelings along that as well. Did you have any moments of tension within your experience that you'd like to share?
Yes, every session. Every session. I had to, I really had to dig deep. I think the session, though, that stands out the most is when we were given some pre-work to look at the characteristics of white supremacist culture and realizing in that moment, oh my gosh, that I have been a willing participant in my own oppression and the oppression of others. And so I had to actually begin to, or continue to, deconstruct some of my foundational beliefs and expectations in regards to people and kids and families and community. If I really wanted to change, be a change agent, be a disruptor in my space. And I had to sit with that. And that wasn't a good feeling because, many of us that think we woke, we think we have arrived. And then you realize, And it's a constant evolution. And in that moment, I realized that I still have more evolving to do. And I'm assuming that it will continue on until the day I exit this earth. But I'm okay with that. But I really had to sit and I was sad about that. I was like, wow. Yeah, it was mind blowing.
I tell some of my friends now that wokeness is not a destination, but it is a journey and it is a daily practice and being present and understanding, listening and all these other activities that I think Surge really does prepare you for. And it does also create a space. I wouldn't call it a safe space. I wouldn't call it a break space. I'm just calling it like a real space to have these conversations and to get real feedback on these conversations, because ultimately it is about, I think for most of us, and I'll say all of us, I'll be confident in that. It's about the students and the kids and the communities that we serve. And so if we're not able to have these conversations amongst each other, like what are we actually doing and how are we actually increasing change and implementing change?
I always say, we talk about assisting people in developing and becoming critical thinkers. I've always pushed back and said we can't create critical thinkers because we are not critical thinkers. And one thing that I have found with Surge, in my experience with Surge, is that you have no choice but to be a critical thinker. But it's also welcome. And so these people that come in and give us their time as presenters, as facilitators, as coaches, all of these people are open to having pushback, right? They're open to the questions. They're open to another way of seeing things. And that's rare oftentimes because people think, you hold these people in high regard. They've achieved certain things. And so oftentimes you think you have to shrink for them, and they welcome you and they're pulling you up along the way. And I love that. Like, it wasn't about position or title or what they accomplished. It was really about assisting you to become greater. And that's key.
Catina, I'm going to pivot a little bit because part of the Surge experience is also having access to some phenomenal thought leaders and keynotes and speakers, executive coaching as well. Can you name for me one of your most favorite experiences with the speaker or a thought leader?
Oh, okay. So speaker, I would say Asif Wilson out of Chicago. Yes, kindred spirits. And then my coach, and that's another thing. For those of you that don't know, you have access to an executive coach. My executive coach, I don't even have the words, except that she is the quiet storm. She is the joy theorist, so to speak. And she it's just, I don't even know. I don't have any words. I really don't. But my coaching experience has really been, all of the experience has been valuable. But when I have to single out something, my coaching experience has been the most valuable part. And you go out and search for a professional, coach, and you see what kind of checks you're going to have to write, and to have that as part of this process available to you. Oh my gosh. Like, it's just,
I celebrate that. I echo that. I reinforce that. I had Brian Gadsden as my coach. I still have Brian as my coach. And so even a year after the fellowship, I have figured out how to make an investment in continuing that experience, because Brian has walked with me alongside my journey, always putting the mirror up to me and like making me, think differently. I use different language now. I use things like, shift your perspective. I talk about daily practice. He's given me these really great skill sets and tools to be able to navigate these spaces. And it's cool to see that. And then we've built really kind of a brotherhood, right? Like I text him, I check in on him, he checks in on me. And so it's more than just that relationship. But Brian's been a phenomenal coach for me. And
so you name dropping, is that what we doing tonight? Like, you name dropping your coach? What?
I have to. Like, first of all, he does good work, and so I'm gonna celebrate that as a Black man doing coaching work. That's the other thing that I love about Surge, is they connect us to executive coaches of color, Black and brown coaches who are doing this space, and so we get to navigate with people who understand that and understand those experiences from a lived place.
Yes, absolutely. And so my coach, Dr. M.L. Black, Monica Black, out of Chicago, Illinois. She is a firecracker, little old bitty thing, but she brings the heat, and she has been amazing. I have been elevated from my soul place, not just my my professional work and my personal work. My soul has been enhanced by being in community with her, and I don't know how often we get to say that about people we've interacted with. So again, hats off. Even I will tell you this, so Carmita is an amazing founder. And I say that she is an amazing founder, because how many founders of organizations, CEOs, EDs actually show up in the space when programming is happening? And she was trying to be there as often as she could be, to support us, to push us, to facilitate some of our sessions. But the most powerful and impactful experience I had with her was that she sat in and participated in the recruitment and interviewing process. And she said something to me during that time that I'll never forget. It will be with me forever. So because she is who she is, and she lives in her why, then that's why she is able to recruit those coaches and those workshop facilitators, because they buy into the why, and she has like-minded people around her, and people also to elevate her. So if they're elevating her and she's already phenomenal, then you know what they're going to do for the participants in the fellowship program.
I'm agreeing with you on so many points. Monica, for me, was one of my favorites. I got to tell you, so I talk about this to everybody I can. Strength Finders, we do a session or a couple of sessions on Strength Finders. I love talking about my strengths. I love talking about the fact that I have restorative as my top strength. I love talking about ideation and strategic and communication and all the other things that come along with that. And having access to that, but not just like doing, I think most of us have done assessments in our life and to figure out who we are and where we stand in certain places. But the in-depth conversation that we had around our individual strengths, how they show up from balconies to basements, how we navigate with their strengths, like that's incredible information that has served me well and will continue to serve my work well for the long term. And Monique, I mean, like, phenomenal.
You see, no words, right? I'm telling you, no words.
In fact, I loved her so much that I asked her to participate in one of our sessions that we did for a local gathering through Amplify. For that reminds me, so I'm gonna just bring some people into the conversation. Chris, absolutely # real space. It's true. It's real. It's real. Andres, Guardi here, thankful for this space. Agreed.
Hey, thanks for joining us.
Hey, Corey, what's up? Brian,
Hey,
yes.
Corey.
I got to tell you, I recognize this. Does it serve you? Yes. Corey shows the love for Carmita. Yeah, absolutely.
Yes.
My team does all the work. I'll give you that. Can I just say that? Let me shout out and elevate the team. So I remember when I started, Noemi was part of the team, Mora, Rito, Chris, Connie, family. It's really cool that we can reach out to them at any time, and they will always go back. And I'm also going to double down on the fact Carmita has always had my back. And I know that she makes that commitment to each of us at the beginning of the sessions, at the beginning of the experience. And I have never seen her fail on her word. And so I'm very appreciative of that. And so just going to throw that out there.
Right. I've never had a girl crush, but I think I might have one, right? I got two now, like 2 girl crushes, right? Like, you bring, like, I'll have to cut somebody messing with Carmita or Monica. Like, do not come for my girls. And I love the fact that the vulnerability, talking through, like you said, your own lived experience to assist us in seeing better and with a different lens, that's often unheard of in the work that we do. People are afraid to take off the mask, but that's what's required to develop real loyalty, real relationship, and that's real leadership. It's people-centered leadership. And so, yes, the team does the work. You sit back and look pretty. You do that well. But remember that the team wouldn't have any place to do the work if you didn't have the vision. Just saying. So, and important supporters like Corey and her team to assist with making sure the vision stays in place.
Absolutely. I can't say enough great things about Surge. I was really trying to, we were also talking, we were going to try to be truthful and honest and real on this conversation. And I still have yet to find like the words to say anything like negative or to like alert people to certain things. It's like the premier experience in my life. I've been blessed to be involved in a couple of different leadership development programs. And I will say Surge is far and beyond anything that I've ever experienced, and the lessons that I learned throughout that time, I think, make my work and my organization's work that much better. And it also gave me a space to actually be collaborative, right? I got to shout out some of my folks, Selena Rios, who was in my class. She serves as the board chair of my organization. Eric Wilkinson, him and I are in constant communication. I will also tell you this, I'm rambling because I love this stuff. Eric was not a hugger at the beginning of Surge, and after Surge, he hugs. And so that's real impact right there. If anybody knows Eric, that's real impact.
Oh, look at our Surge Oakland folks coming up, making a comment. Hey, we love you back. Yay. We love you guys back. And we are a national family. And the thing that I love is that recently we received an email from Carmita that talked about accessing your network. And in working with my coach, one of the things that I will not ever forget is that oftentimes we're forecasting. What would you like to do next year, or 3 years, or 5 years down the road? And oftentimes we say that as if it's not already true today. But I think it is. And that's something that I had to be reminded of, is that what you're looking to do in the future is already true today if you really just look around you and think critically about what you're already doing. And so when that email came about tapping into our network, it reminded me that I had set a goal for certain things. And I was like, oh, it's already true just because I'm a part of Surge. And all I have to do is tap into that network and use the resources that are already there for me. And it will be that much grander and better. So the one criticism, our experience wasn't long enough. And then COVID hit, like we couldn't control for that. And so I miss being in fellowship in person with my cohort and with the leadership of Surge. But I will say I would have loved for our experience. This is a program that I would have willingly been a part of for a year, easily.
I still want to have a do-over. I got to say, like, I'm in such a different headspace and place right now that I'm wondering what kind of information I didn't receive at the time. What kind of stuff that I didn't pick up because of where I was. And so, Carmita, I'm going to just throw this out there. If there's an intermediate level for Surge, just let me know, because I'm signing up for that. Just bringing other people into the space. George, of course, George is part of the team. I would be remiss if I didn't mention Sasha. Sasha is a phenomenal team member. I get to work with her on alumni stuff. And so, Sasha, if you're listening, just want to give you a quick shout out. Who else? Good friend AJ, running Innovare. Him and his team. Nick Freeman is also a Surge fellow. You're absolutely right. That network is a powerful network, and it's also very open. I can name a lot of people out here who I've met through Surge who have helped me and help my organization continue to grow. And so it's so cool to be able to tap into that, and that we have that in common, that we've all been through that experience. And it's built for a beautiful community.
Absolutely. So if you guys have questions, if you're tuning in and you're thinking about applying for Surge, please post your questions. Please post your questions. We want to answer whatever questions you have. I know oftentimes those that are considering Surge may say, well, describe what it's like to be in a fellowship session. What emotions come up? What are you taking away? How do you feel? What is the best part of the day? So it is exhausting, but that's not a bad thing. What emotions come up? All of them. All of them. You're going to get angry because you think about your own landscape. You get sad because you think about the students and families that are being served, that look like you. How do you feel? You feel inspired some days. Other days you don't. You may feel hopeless because this seems like it is such a massive issue to address, depending on where you find yourself and what you're doing. But at some days you come out and you're absolutely hopeful and you're ready to hit the ground running. Like, put a track in front of me, I'm ready to take off. So you feel it all. And then what is the part of the days? Man, I can't even say it because I'm a little chubby. The food, no. Food and fellowship. Food and fellowship, right? Like, one of the things that I absolutely love about Surge is no matter where they find themselves, they support local. And so that was key. And the support staff of Surge for us does not go overlooked. We have Asha, amazing. And so the fact that they look for local people to invest in and do business with and to support the experience, that means the world to me. And if anybody knows me, that's what I'm all about. So it meant the world to me. And that also, again, that intentionality, like no detail was not looked at and addressed. So I see, one of my visionary, my cohort visionary, and John is one as well. They feel encouraged. Humanity. India was in your cohort, right? She's like, hey, India. I wish we could see you and the baby. But so you see, and then what's going on internally for you? Growth. It is really like a seed. Again, I talk about that soul work. A seed being planted in your soul, in the fertile ground of your soul. And then you are continuing to do the reading, interacting and engaging. And that's what's giving it its sunlight and its water and the nutrients for it to grow. That's the way that I would describe it.
I feel liberated, after my experience, and not even just immediately after the fact. I think it took time to still process and to still develop and to still learn and to still be in daily practice and to still go back to some of the readings and to do that. But I think one of the coolest things that I got out of that experience was the fact that I am unapologetically Latinx. I try to censor the Latinx community. I figure out ways to decenter whiteness in our work. And it's so cool to be given the space and to have that modeled for you, and to understand that like you can also model that for others, and you can also build spaces where that is the norm, where we decenter whiteness and definitely build Black, Brown, and POC communities. And so
And be okay with it. Don't feel like you have to make other people comfortable. And I'm going to be like real, like we've been doing that for far too long. And nobody's gone out of their way to make us feel comfortable. And so this is not a space for that. It really is you saying it is okay to be pro-Black or to be unapologetically Latinx or indigenous or female or whatever it is. And just walk that thing out and realizing that, you know, white supremacist culture, oppression, internalized racism and oppression, all that stuff, it has done a number on us. And so we have to use this opportunity to begin to deconstruct it if you haven't already. And again, Surge gives you the space to do that.
You know, I'm gonna celebrate this, AJ. A lot of professional development and growth too. Surge empowers you to do the work you are uniquely qualified to do. Yes. Absolutely. I will say that is part of it too. You know, we learned about how to have difficult conversations. We learned about messaging. We learned about brand. We learned about budgeting. I mean, so a lot of practical applications to the work as well, in addition to the soul work. And so incredibly helpful. And then Carmita, I'm over here in tears thinking about where you are today at your real talk. You know, I'm a big champion. And if you are in Indianapolis right now and you haven't decided to do this program or attempt to try to do this program, I strongly suggest it. I highly encourage it. I will write your recommendation letter, even though I don't know you. We'll figure that out. Because it is a once in a lifetime experience. Unless I'm seeing Corey commit to 2.0, so I'm gonna just.
We gonna hold you to it, Corey.
You know what? I'm gonna let it be spoken into existence. Sounds like we need a Surge 2.0. Let's get a call soon. Absolutely. You know.
Is that another visionary I hear in your background?
So I married a visionary.
Yes, you did.
A couple of days ago, a week or so ago, or 2 weeks ago at this point. So, you know, we have Surge in the fam. We believe in Surge so much that we kept it in the family. And so, you know, it's such a phenomenal opportunity, and you wouldn't be doing yourself justice if you didn't attempt to apply, if you didn't apply. I think at some point, Catina, we're going to have to shift the conversation a little bit into more of the application process and whatnot. Yes. Do you want to shift into that now, or do you still want to talk a little bit more about the experience?
I think we should shift because we want to make sure that people are getting what they need. So the first thing I'm going to tell you is the deadline. July 17th. How do I know that date? Committed it to memory because it's the day before my Earth Day. So July 17th is the deadline. Make sure you're working on your application. Don't leave it to the last minute. It is worth investing the time to get it done. Oh, so a whole group of visionaries right there on that slide. I love it. So if you're African American or Latinx leader between the ages of 28 and 40, I'm a little bit over that threshold, but that's kind of where they center. So even if you are over that 40 mark, don't be afraid to apply. What energy do you have that says you are not over 40? That's what matters. Employed in a leadership position within an education or youth serving organization in the Indy metro area, with at least 6 years of experience with a proven track record of results and passion for positively impacting the lives of young people and their communities. So that's who the audience is. That's who they're looking for. And you remember I said that you could put them in a chair, and that's who they're looking for. So if you fit the bill, you're already, you know, on the journey, so to speak. So this is our the curriculum cadence, so to speak, the outline of what it looks like. So starting September 18th and culminating March 25th through the 27th. That's, you know, I'm old now. I don't have my glasses on. So, you know, you have your opening retreat. Then you have your additional sessions throughout, all tied to the pillars. All tied. Every session is tied to the pillars that make up Surge. So you can always connect them back and know that you're working on 1 or 2 or 3 of those pillars in each of the sessions. And it looks like there will be a total of 4 sessions going on. And then you'll culminate. So here's our application open. It's already open. It opened in April. Again, it closes July 17th. July 17th. You'll get an invitation by August 3rd. And then you'll go into those darn interviews on the week of August 10th. So, You have time, but don't waste the time. And I love the fact also, like, there is a financial investment to make. If you work for an organization, they may make that investment in you. And that's a good indication of how much if you're working for an educational institution, a nonprofit, a philanthropic organization, or anything like that, and they refuse to invest in you in this way for your professional development, that says a lot about who you work for. So even then, you got to start thinking about, do I remain or do I not? And then we are telling you that this experience is so phenomenal that if you have to do it yourself, make the financial investment yourself, do it. And they work with you to get it done. Okay, I was going to say, Eric is here. He said there was some weirdness there for a second, but he's here now. Hey, we got you here. I heard you a hugger, Eric. Mm-hmm.
He's out here hugging everybody these days, and I'm cool with that. It's such a good thing to see him.
He better not. He better be doing social distancing. He better not be hugging on nobody.
You know what? Appropriately, figuratively speaking, not literally speaking.
Yes.
I will say we'll go ahead and make sure that these links are also in the comments at some point. So I'll figure that out. But just a quick reminder, that is how you can sign up for the application. So we'll make sure to put those in the comments.
One thing that I would encourage people to do is make sure you go and explore the Surge website. I will be perfectly honest. I didn't do a whole lot of that beforehand. And I wish I had, but I don't know. It may have tainted, my just blank slateness, so to speak. But go and explore and learn why Surge would be a good fit or not a good fit. And be honest with yourself. Be honest with yourself. It is work. You do have to put in the time. I know that for a fact, that if you don't make the time, then you don't get the best out of the experience. So just be honest with yourself. And because remember, this is a small group of people that come together to have this experience. So if you're not contributing something and you're only taking the withdrawals but not making deposits, then you take away from the experience. So make sure that you are really honest about yourself or what you can do now or what you can do later. And it's okay if you don't do it now, but understand you passing up a good old opportunity. I'm telling you that.
I mean, I can't reinforce this or say this enough. It is such an incredible opportunity. It is one of the best things that you will ever do. I will guarantee it. Not that it matters if I guarantee it or not. It just really is. It's I can't even speak about it because like there's so many thoughts and so much positivity that I feel and love for this program that I have and for the people that are involved with it. It's a whole, I mean, it's life-changing. It is absolutely life-changing. And I mean that in every single way of that statement. So I see that we do have a lot of like Surge alums and Surge fellows in our chat. So if you all have any stories or if we're forgetting to share something that is important, feel free to comment. We will elevate and lift up your voices in this. If you have any stories that you want to share too, we can absolutely share them with the community at large. And also, we are open to answering any questions. We will well informed and well prepared today to answer questions around the application process and whatnot. So feel free to continue. Catina, so I think you have your last session on Friday officially.
Yes.
What?
I'm gonna cry.
You're gonna cry. You know what we haven't talked about yet? That reminds me.
What?
The capstone or the Freedom Dreams project.
Yes. Oh my God. And you can see my pen. I'm wearing it already. I know. I'm not official, but that's okay.
Okay.
So the Freedom Dreams project is an opportunity to really think about what you want to do as what I call an entrepreneur, or what you want to do outside of your organization to move and move something forward and have an impact in the community with the students, the families, the community that you serve. So this Freedom Dreams project really is, and it doesn't have to be complete at the end of the fellowship, but you do need to have made some traction. And I think this is a great opportunity for you to actually walk through that project management skill set, your pitching skill set, and develop budgets. And then think about, and I love this part of it. Like oftentimes we get so caught up in who's going to support our work that we don't put the energy into determining how the landscape is shaped, that people may push back against our work. And that can really make you or break you when you start putting your projects together or trying to roll something out in your community if you haven't thought about those things. And so we had a session on that. And we got a real time, real world example of someone that had put all this energy into a project and they didn't think about a key stakeholder group in their community. And because of that, their project fell apart or their initiative fell apart. So again, this Freedom Dreams project, whatever it may be for you, and you can reiterate, you can iterate again and again and again on it. But you want to do the work and so that you can actually see something and move something forward when you're done with the experience. So again, the Freedom Dreams, and people are doing amazing things. They're rolling out new curriculum. They're launching new businesses. They're moving a nonprofit that they already were a part of forward even more. So it can be anything, think about, I always ask people when what are you passionate about? But if you could do anything in the world and money wasn't an object, like what would you do? Hey, that could be your Freedom Dreams project. Like, right. Think about it in that way. Something you haven't made the time to get to, but you always wanted to do it. That could possibly be the Freedom Dreams project. So I'm excited. Yes.
One thing that I loved about that experience was seeing my community, right? My folks, my family, and seeing what their dreams were. And I remember India and Yolanda and the way that they delivered their project and what their vision was. And it was so awesome to be in a place where we wanted to support them and be that space. I will also say one of the lessons and the reminders that I learned and was reminded of is, like, if you have an idea and you're pitching to somebody, always make sure to ask for the money at the end of the day. Just for all of you who are about to do your Freedom Dreams project, if you don't have a slide right now that talks about the money that you need to accomplish your dream, make sure you have that included, or else you're going to receive some feedback and some real feedback about that. So just FYI, that's a freebie for everybody.
And Eric, pull up Eric's comment real quick, because I think it's important. So he talked about the practical side of things, that networking is real. He said, think the Avengers Ensemble. I love that. And so collaborating, supporting each other, many times working together for collective impact. And that is key. Several people in our cohort, they've emerged as leaders or coaches themselves. Like, they can work within their cohort and actually move people forward. And so that's awesome. Somebody starting a political campaign, one of my visionary partners. Yes.
Forward for the people. Hashtag yes. Forward for the people. It's happening.
That's it. Yes. So there's any number of things that you'll come out wanting to do, energized to do, and equipped to do. And so a part of the, I'm going to go back real quick to some of these practical things. Thank you, Eric, for bringing me back. Because I can't get, philosophical and Philly. But one of the things that will be required is a letter from a supervisor. And it's great that both of us are here. So both of us, I used to be in the classroom space, but 5 years ago I left and I started my own business. I am my supervisor, unless you ask my mama. But I am my supervisor. So I didn't have anyone to write that letter for me. So if you have questions about that, who can write that, who can stand in the gap, or what you can submit in lieu of that, then make sure you email and get some clarification based on your particular circumstances. So anything you need help with throughout the application process, you can email academy@surgeinstitute.org. academy@surgeinstitute.org to get those questions answered. Don't wait till the last minute. Don't say, I thought, I knew the answer. Ask the question. Thank you for putting it in there. So academy@surgeinstitute.org. Ask the questions. And no, nothing is too small. Ask the questions so you have clarity so that this process benefits you well. If you want to get in, ask the questions. Bottom line. Not to say that's going to guarantee you to get in, but you know what I'm saying. Want to make sure I'm clear about that.
I got to say, in terms of networking too, Eric brought that up. I have been able to attend some incredible conferences because of Surge, because of some scholarships that they have provided some folks and those offerings. I've been able to attend ASU GSV. I attended New Schools. I attended a couple of other places where Surge was strong and the community was strong. And so it's not just, and I think Carmita and the team are really intentional about continuing those development opportunities long after the fellowship is done. I'm not going to talk about that because some of y'all don't need to know about that. Never mind. So I'm gonna stop myself there. But there are incredible opportunities to continue to be in community with each other and to be supportive of each other. Shout out to my friends in Oakland. Shout out to my friends in Chicago. Shout out to my new family, about to be new family in Indianapolis. The network continues. The network continues to grow. The vision continues to be implemented and achieved every single day. Something I also think about is the legacy of Surge, and I am so excited for my experience and my opportunity to participate because the same lessons that I learned from Surge, I tend to share with other people. And so I share resources. I share, I figured out how to give folks access to strength finders and, have those conversations and use them as part of my own like mentors and mentees conversations that I'm having. And so it is a gift.
I was going to say, you froze for a minute. But you good. You good. Keep going.
It's a gift that continues to be given. And so I think that the legacy is strong with the community. Hashtag the takeover.
Yes.
For sure.
Pretty soon it's going to be like this, that we will not be able to go anywhere in the country and not run into some of our fellow Surge folks. And that is so exciting. And when we do that, you are not a stranger. So if you already belong to a sorority or a fraternity or some professional organization and you have that feeling, just multiply it times 100 because Surge is going to beat you. Yeah, it's going to be what it's going to be. So yes, I do want to also, because I'm looking at our time and I want to make sure that we honor everyone's time, is that let's talk about the actual application itself. So it has 4 essay questions, 4. That's not a lot. You have to submit 2 letters of recommendation, 1 personal, 1 from a supervisor. And remember, if you don't have a supervisor, don't let that halt your process. Just ask the question of who could possibly stand in the gap for you in that space. And then an MOU, so a Memorandum of Understanding. And so I have a JD. I'm a Juris Doctor. So when we think about a Memo of Understanding, it is really a legally binding document somewhat. And oftentimes courts don't enforce them, but that's not the point. The point is that you are actually agreeing that in return for this investment that you are also giving. So it is really this give-take relationship. You are saying, I'm making a commitment to do X, Y, and Z. And in return, Surge is saying, this is what they're investing in you. I can't say that enough. And it is an investment, but they are gifting you. Now that I'm to the end of my fellowship experience, it really has been a gift to be chosen and to be able to participate. And then don't forget that the application deadline is up on the screen. It's July 17. Day before my birthday. If you want to send me a gift, feel free. I'm in Kansas City, Catina. Just look me up. I think Edgar, you telling people, how did you do the process? Did you space everything out along the way leading up to the deadline? Did you kind of crunch everything into a short amount of time? What did you do?
I would not recommend waiting to the last minute to apply because really part of the process and part of those essays, 4 essays are not a lot, but really it's the thought and the intention behind those essays that it's important. Now, I also learned about myself based on where my Myers-Briggs was, that I was probably going to wait till last minute, but I understood that as a personality trait. And, now that I understand that better, I can plan for it better as well. First of all, George, the deadline is July 17, 2020. So a month exactly from today and a month away from Catina's birthday. So I just really want people to really put some thought and effort into this. And this is not a last minute application thing, because honestly, I know that the team reads every single essay. They read every single word, and it will come back.
Yes, it will.
if you're selected to go on to selection day, it will come back and you are going to have to affirm your answers and why you answered the way you did. So just going to throw that out there.
I love that. George said 4 essay questions. So that means 1 per week leading up to the deadline.
I love it.
That's it. Yes.
See, that's
Shanita says, that's it, right? Shanita says, I can't wait to meet KC Surge Alum in these streets and really in the boardroom. Boardroom takeover. Yes, indeed. But guess what? We're not going to be in anybody else's boardroom. We're creating our own.
That's right.
Just saying. Just saying. Like, that's how we roll in Kansas City. Is that how y'all roll in Chicago and Oakland? And I hope Indy, because that's what we doing. I ain't trying to ask to sit at nobody else's table. We creating our own. Yes, I am kind of that person.
No,
you
know what? We are all actually that person. I gotta tell you. So in my cohort, I can speak to my cohort. I think everyone in that cohort has advanced somewhere professionally. They've made some incredible decisions. They've taken some risks. They have shown up in very different ways. And so I will say that, you know what? One of the biggest gifts that Surge gives you is the confidence to be who you are, where you are, when you are. And so that is all you need. That is all you need. That is all you need. I'm going to just stay right there. Because if, and showing up to table.
That's it. Bringing my own plates too. Flip them over. You already know. I'm like, what they say in the Bible, flip them over. That's me.
It's been modeled for us that way.
That's it.
Anyways.
Yes, I love that. I don't have anything else like to add to what you just said. Showing up your authentic self. I will also say through my coaching experience, one of the things that I learned who I was in a different way. And I talked about who I wanted to be and what was hindering me from being that person. And so it's a choice every single day that you wake up. And that's one of the things that who are you going to be when you wake up every single day? And if who you say you want to be is not lining up with who you are, then this is an opportunity for you to get there. And we don't have to be who people say we are or who they think we are. Like, we don't have to embrace any of that. So, okay, let's see. Eric, I'm talking and looking. So Eric says, final thought. Thank you, panelists. Like wrapping up. Y'all see how Surge people act. I recently reviewed my application essays and decision day experience and was silently grateful for this evolving experience. My growth from my application through today is immeasurable. I had to do the work, but Surge staff, my cohort, my coach, and other friends of the program helped me to get me where I am today. That's just like, what can we say? He wrapped up for us, didn't he? He just had to show out.
He always does.
I love that, Eric. I think I would do that as well. Like, in a little bit of time, go back and kind of see who I was in that initial phase of the process and who I am today. One of the things I know is I am not standing on a battlefield for anybody else. If y'all know Monica, she talks about being on the battlefield, fighting in traditional ways, and maybe even participating in a fight that ain't even real. And so I know that for sure that's somebody that's in the past. So, and I know that to be true because in light of many of the social things that are going on across the country right now, I have been uncharacteristically different and I like it. So, yes. So I have a Surge experience for a lot of that to be thankful for and be grateful for who I see in the mirror today. So Eric, yes, thank you for bringing that up, shining light on that. We appreciate that. I'm excited to see what Eric gonna do because he is a powerhouse, I tell you.
And just to reaffirm this, Eric almost hoked out on me during his selection day. That's a story for happy hour. I will say happy hour is part of the experience. Well, when, during non-COVID times, although, before we even go, can we talk about Soul Circle?
Yes, we have to talk about Soul Circle. You talk about it. I'll cry.
So, well, I'm just saying Soul Circle, this ability to hold space for each other and to talk about the things that were relevant, regardless of where we stood or whatever. Like, it was this ability to unload our experiences and for others to kind of lift them up with us. And that's part of that's something that we continue to do today. Our cohort, the first symbol, I would say, of the Surge family, still to this day meets on a monthly basis to hold Soul Circle and for us to create that space for each other and to really continue to build those bonds and relationships and affirm each other in the ways that we learned to do throughout our Surge experience. And so, what a phenomenal, I remember.
I love the fact that you guys are intentional about still doing that. We kind of do ours like if it's a needed thing. If someone says, hey, we need a Soul Circle, it's almost like an AA meeting, I guess. I don't know. But like, hey, we need to convene a Soul Circle. And when someone says that, that is kind of like this rallying cry that we know if someone needs that in our cohort, that is something serious and that is sacred. And it's like we're showing up. No matter what else is going on, we're showing up for each other in that space. And we've had people that had some family losses during this time. We've had some real friction. Remember, this is a space for Black people and brown people. So we had to navigate historical relationships between Black people and the Latinx community. And while we hold certain beliefs, the Soul Circle provided us an environment to be able to do that. And we still walk out and it's like, we still fam. I don't care what happened and what was said in there. Like, we fam for real. So I love the fact that you guys are very intentional about holding that space out and continuing to do that process. You guys are going to love Soul Circle.
It's a reflection of the work and the experience, and the fact that we want to keep that going on is just a testament to the program itself. And so I think you should open it up.
Soul Circle today, Eric? What? Before this call, they had a quick. That's awesome. So that means somebody needed something, and I hope everybody showed up to give. But in the giving, you also receive. So it's really interesting, this particular experience, because most people think about fellowship programs and things like that, that real practical stuff, like these skills, these objectives you need to meet and all of that. And that is Surge. But you have the whole other component, which is the soul work. And so that's what makes it unique. That's that, what do we call it? That's that MVP, that minimum viable product, if we want to talk about in terms of entrepreneurship, right? That unique value proposition. That's what it is.
That soul work makes everything else work. And I think that ultimately is the heart of the organization. And it's really about holding space for each other, building community, and showing up when we're needed to show up, right? And showing up when we're asked to show up. And so I'm opening it up to final questions from our community. If not, feel free to reach out to me, myself, Catina, or anyone else who's on this thread. We're happy to answer any more questions. We're happy to help you navigate through the application process and to continue to build friendships and relationships across the board, across the country. And I'm just so grateful for the experience and for the ability to be a part of the group and to be a part of this family. It's such an amazing opportunity, and I hope one day that everybody who wants to experience Surge gets to experience Surge, because it's that powerful.
Absolutely. Don't forget the deadline is July 17th, 2020. It is a process. So, get started now if you're interested. Encourage people. You may not apply. I went to the informational with a friend of mine. She wasn't going to apply, but she really encouraged me to do it. So if you know other people that you think they will thrive in this space, encourage them to fill out an application. If you don't fill out the application, then you wander in the land of what if, a coulda, woulda, shoulda. Don't do that. So if you have questions, of course, go out to the website, check it out. We have right here the link. Also, if you have questions, that email address is academy@surgeinstitute.org. So get your questions answered. Again, July 17th is that deadline. So we encourage you, we support you. Again, like Edgar said, if you have more questions, both of us, we're on every social media platform, I think. that exist out there. So look us up. We are responsive to people that reach out to us. And because we want all of us, Black and brown people, to be thriving. Now is the time and opportunity, I think, to really get involved and engage and really have real lasting impact. It was before, but it's even more so now with the shift that is happening in the universe, in our country, in the world over. So equip yourself, prepare yourself to go out there and flip over some tables.
I love that. Thank you to our community that joined us today. Thank you for being in space in community with us. Can't wait to welcome our new family from Indianapolis. I can't wait to meet you all. Again, just a phenomenal experience. And Catina, also, thank you so much for letting me interview you and ask you some questions today.
Thank you.
It's always fun to get to know you better in these spaces. So,
like, I don't know what that's a whole nother conversation.
That's a whole conversation. Anyways,
that's a whole nother conversation.
Thank you to everybody else.
It's been great, you guys. Thank you. India, we love you back. We love you back. Mwah. Congratulations on your new role. That's an example. What you were just saying, Edgar, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Amy, Carmita, thank you for trusting the messaging about Surge to us, to me in particular. I'm always amazed when people ask me to do things and represent them. But I thank you guys. Asha, oh my God, there she is. Yes. We were just talking about you earlier. That is MVP. Our Wonder Woman. That's our Wonder Woman. She gets it done. So we need to treat her even better than we already do. So be looking for something from me for sure, Asha. We appreciate you for sure. So that being said, respecting time, apply soon. Have a good evening. Good night, everybody. We love you guys. Yay.
Bye.